We're getting down to the final stages of what we use the separator for during the boil process. We still have to finish the syrup, which we do on a separate unit. You can see now we're getting to the final last drops of sap in the evaporator, and we have to move this sap into these back two pans, and both are getting a very nice golden color now. We're very close to finishing this syrup. When you get to this stage, do your best to move all of the fire, all of the heat, as far back in the evaporator as you can. We don't need to heat the front pan anymore. We have to get the last of the sap out of the warming tray and into these two pans. That feels good. Now another thing that we have to do, I like to keep these pans in here because they keep the ash from flying up from underneath, but do not boil them dry. So that's just water. And I'm just going to leave that in this tray as the other two trays finish up. The next step is transferring and filtering the nirup and getting it ready to finish the syrup. Once you have your pans emptied out enough, just use some heavy duty gloves. Pick those pans right up out of the evaporator. So you can see there is still some ash and things like that you want to filter out before moving on to the next step of finishing your maple syrup. Put the lid on, get it up to a boil, and get your thermometers ready. A little bit more to go. All right, we have reached our final temperature, 219 degrees Fahrenheit, or in Canada, as we know it, 104 degrees Celsius. It's time to filter this syrup. We are now on to the filtering stage of making maple syrup. For this stage, we use cooking oil filters. They're just paper filters. They're a little more heavy duty than coffee filters. They last a little longer, you can reuse them. Depending on your sap flow and your syrup, you may need to nestle two of them together if you have a lot of niter building up. Niter builds up anytime you get your syrup up to the syrup temperature point, which is 219 Fahrenheit or 104 Celsius. So let's get to filtering. I've moistened the filter, just running hot water through it, which just really helps the syrup pass through a little quicker. And it also passes through the filter much quicker if you keep the syrup hot. That's why I'm doing it on top of the wood stove here. Nice golden color to the syrup. The yield from that boil was about 6 liters of finished syrup. This is 2 liters here. I like using these 2 liter half-gallon mason jars to store the finished syrup until we have enough to start bottling. This is what we use to bottle. This is what we bottle into, and that's coming up right now.